All right, I've got a wild one for you today, straight from the Supreme Court's case files. It's a story that starts with a wedding, but ends up being about a really crucial principle of law and justice, one that applies to all of us, but especially to the people sworn to uphold it. So, get this. A judge performs a wedding ceremony. Seems pretty routine, right? Well, there was one tiny little problem. Both the bride and the groom were already married to other people. Yeah. This wasn't just some clerical error. It was the beginning of a legal showdown that went all the way to the top. And this whole mess brings up a question I bet a lot of you have wondered about at some point. If someone's been separated from their spouse for years, are they free to go out and get married again? It's a super common point of confusion, and by the end of this, we're going to clear that up for good. Okay, so let's set the scene. Our story really kicks off on May 12th, 1999. A formal complaint lands on the desk against a municipal trial court judge named R. Sanchez. And the charge, it's a big one: gross ignorance of the law. Now, check out this timeline to see how this all unfolded. Way back in 1966, Borja marries a guy named David Manzano. They have 4 kids together. Now, fast forward almost 3 decades to 1993. That's when Judge Sanchez marries that same David Manzano to a completely different woman, Luzviminda Payo. And get this, it then takes another 6 years before the first wife, Herminia, finally files her complaint. So here's the absolute heart of the issue. Herminia's argument is simple. Hey, that's my husband. Our marriage is still legally valid, which means this new wedding is totally void. And the real kicker? The piece of evidence that makes this so sticky for the judge? He performed the wedding even though the marriage contract right in front of him literally said both parties were separated. So you gotta wonder, what could the judge possibly say to defend this? How do you get out of that one? Well, his story, it kind of changes. His justification wasn't exactly consistent. At first, the judge plays it pretty simple. His story was basically, hey, I had no idea. I didn't know the guy was married. He said he just thought they were a couple that had been living together for a while. He even tried to flip it, saying that if he had known, of course he would have warned them. He basically painted the whole complaint as an attempt to harass him. But then his defense gets a little more sophisticated. He shifts gears and starts talking about a specific law, Article 34 of the Family Code. He claims that since the couple had sworn affidavits saying they'd lived together for over 5 years, he was actually following the law by marrying them. And for a second, you might think, maybe he's got a point here. This is where we really have to dig in, because everything hinges on what this law, Article 34, actually says. And you better believe the Supreme Court took a very, very close look. But first, we need to get our heads around this key legal term, legal impediment. You can just think of it as a total deal breaker, a hard stop sign for any marriage. And the biggest, most absolute legal impediment of all? You guessed it, already being married to someone else. It makes any new marriage completely void from the get-go. So when you actually look at Article 34, it's not complicated at all. It's basically a 3-step checklist. Step 1, yep, the couple has to have lived together for at least 5 years. Step 2, and here's the big one, they must have no legal impediment to get married. And step 3, the judge himself has to swear that he checked and didn't find any.
And boom, that's it. That's the fatal flaw in the judge's entire defense. The couple didn't just fail step 2, they completely blew it. They both had the clearest legal impediment possible, so that law he was citing, Article 34, it just plain didn't apply, not even close.
And the Supreme Court did not mince words on this. They were blunt. The fact that the couple had been living apart from their spouses for a long time is, and I'm quoting here, immaterial. Being separated does not break the legal bond of marriage. You are still married. Full stop. You cannot remarry. So with the law being so black and white, you can probably guess where this is headed. The Supreme Court's ruling was pretty straightforward. They didn't just say the judge made a mistake. The verdict was gross ignorance. Ouch. And here's why the whole "I didn't know" defense completely fell apart. The proof was literally staring him in the face. It was in the documents he handled. The couple's prior marriages were mentioned in their affidavits they swore to in front of him. And of course, that little word, separated, was printed right on the marriage contract he signed. And this is the mic drop moment from the court. You know that old saying, ignorance of the law excuses no one? Well, the court basically said, that goes double for you, judge. They said that judges, of all people, are expected to be the very embodiment of competence. So, what happens when a judge is found guilty of, well, not knowing his job? He got hit with a fine of 20,000 pesos. Now, this wasn't just about the money. It was a message, a very public and very stern warning that this kind of failure to apply basic law has real consequences. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. Why are we even talking about this one case from years ago? Because it's not just about one messed up wedding. It's about something much, much bigger. It's about the standard we expect from the people we trust to uphold the law. You see, there's this thing called the Code of Judicial Conduct, and it's not a list of nice-to-haves. It's the bare minimum. It says a judge must be competent, have integrity, be independent, and, know the basic laws. This case is a perfect, if painful, reminder of what happens when that fundamental duty isn't met. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. The law says that you or I can't just say, oops, I didn't know that was illegal, to get out of trouble. So if that's the standard for us, what higher standard should we demand from the very people whose entire job is to know, interpret, and apply that same law? It's a question that really gets to the foundation of our entire legal system.